Hey guys, Liquid Fire here. Thanks for joining me again tonight. So tonight we're going to get into something for the first time since I've been making videos, and that's a new update for the game. So obviously we're running a little further behind. I do work during the day, so I didn't get the opportunity to jump in and make a quick video and get all the information out there as soon as possible. Unfortunately, that's just not the way I'm going to be able to work. So we are going to get into it tonight. We're not going to go too deep. We will play around with some of the gear and take a look at a couple things that I think are going to stand out. But this will just kind of be a high-level first look type of thing. So let's get into it here. So again, it's the Bear Archery Pack. It's $4.99 US, and it does come with some really nice gear. So it starts out with a compound bow. That's the Alaskan XT RTH. So a new compound bow we can use. It also comes with a new crossbow, the Constrictor Pro. Now the cool thing about this crossbow is it also comes with a new scope that's actually designed for this crossbow. Unfortunately, it's also designed with metric in mind. So for the US players who are used to using yards, the reticle is lined out in meters, so that may add a little bit of confusion. I've actually shifted over and started playing, well, actually, it's been for a long time now, playing everything in meters because it all just lines up in meters. Your ranges, the zeroing, everything is set up in meters. The game's designed in meters, so it just made sense to shift over to meters. And, it's not that big of a deal to consider yards to meters and things like that, so I went meters. So for me, it's going to fit nicely because it does have a range finding reticle in it with the ranges listed out. We'll take a look at it. So that's going to be really cool. I think the next piece, though, is the one that's really the creme de la creme of the entire pack. And that is going to be the recurve. And a lot of people have been begging for some traditional bows. Well, now you have it, and it's none other than Fred Bear's Takedown. This is legitimately one of the most iconic bows ever. So when you start talking with anybody who knows anything about archery, if you talk about recurves, everyone knows the takedown. It's just that type of a bow. It's really what brought Fred Bear to the forefront. It's just a really cool thing to have in game. So even if we look here, what they said, it's the iconic bow from 1969 with, well, this is featuring the signature 1969 heel horn style grip. They got it right. This is an iconic bow. So we also, kind of getting sidetracked with the takedown because that's really cool to see. We also get the Trophy Ridge Attack Pro, which is a bow sight for the compound bows. And I honestly have no idea what this sight looks like. I haven't heard anybody say anything about it specifically, except I think one person had some ghosting happening when they were using it. So it was like whenever they would move it, you would get all the lines behind it. So it was, kind of that type of thing going on. But that was only one person, so hopefully we don't run into that. Now, if we take a look into the patch notes, there's some bigger things in here that are really going to stand out. So we've obviously got the bear pack, which we already went through. They did add, just a little, rare, a melanistic gray wolf. So the gray wolves are continuing to be a theme in my life lately. So this is a melanistic gray, and it's going to be in all the maps where grays are. So Nez Perce, Transylvania, Aurora Shores, Lindakoto, they're all going to have this new black wolf. So that's cool. They made some changes. So they increased the effective hit energy for the 308, the 338, 30-06, the 270, and the 6.5 Creedmoor. Notice I didn't say anything about the 300. So I'm not sure why the 300 wasn't addressed, but it wasn't. So what it sounds like they did is took the changes that were in the development branch for PC and kind of rolled back to that as the standard for energies. I was really under the impression that we were going to see some bigger changes. I thought they were looking at kind of keeping those energy changes and adjusting some of the animal hitboxes so that the lower energy rates made more sense across the board. But either they've decided not to go that route, or they decided to push that back until they could maybe do a better job with it than what would have been rushed out with this. I don't know. No insider knowledge on that one at all. But they did make some changes, so for everybody now, it should be a little better than it was, especially with these 5 particular rifles. Slugs now have the bullet trails, so that'll be handy so you can see where they're going. They increased the grass render distance in Lindakoto. I don't know how big of a deal that was for everybody, but it's nice to see anything that makes things look better. And they made a default change, so basically just changing the frame rate from unlimited to 120 by default. That'll probably help some players out who don't go in and change a lot of settings. They did fix a couple things. So they fixed players being trapped in the benches when traveling to Lindakoto. It's funny, that was one of the things that I heard everybody complaining about before I ever even opened the map. And I didn't understand what was going on until I actually got in and saw, okay, there's a ring of benches. So I guess maybe they took a couple benches out, not sure. They did adjust some need zones that were outside of the map boundaries. We had that happen before with Transylvania, at least, may have been another one. And if you happen to be playing in Arabic, the encyclopedia was displaying left to right instead of right to left, so they fixed that. So, oh, look, we got a picture of the new scope, but not the new bow scope. So we got the new crossbow scope. So this is actually what I was talking about. So this scope is specifically built for the new crossbow, which is called, again, the, what is it? The Constrictor Pro. Yeah. So it is zeroed for the Constrictor Pro. So these ranges, supposedly, we'll check it here in a minute, are actually accurate, which means other than wind, you don't need to worry about hunter sense when you're using this thing if you are not comfortable with gauging distances. You can use this and be spot on, which is really freaking awesome. Now, the problem that I see is if you use this scope on either the wonderhit or the apex, it's not going to line up. The other issue that jumps out to me immediately is this is in meters. So if you're playing in yards, these are going to be off and get further off the further away you go. Now, granted, it's not going to be a significant difference. A yard and a meter is not that far apart, but I think it may be enough to make you hold just a little bit differently. Now, the reality to that is it's not a big deal. Just like with the scopes we have today, you have to figure out where to aim. It's going to be the same thing. So maybe the 60 yard, you have to hold it a little low. And 100 yards, maybe you have to hold it, even further low or whatever. We'll take a look at it and see how it actually looks in game here in just a minute. But that is something that's kind of interesting in this particular solution. I like it. I do. I absolutely like it. I think it's great that it's labeled out the way it is, and I like the scope. I wish it had a little more zoom. It would have been really cool to see this in even like a 7 or 8, 9x. But, we're talking about crossbows. You're not taking 300, you're not normally taking 300 yard shots. So that's cool. And I love keep fingers down. I'm assuming this is real in a real scope. I've never seen it, but I think that's hilarious. It's good to see that. It's just fun. All right, so we've talked through everything here. Let's go ahead and jump in game. We're going to go to Nez Perce here, go down to the range. I haven't even launched the game yet since the patch came out, so this is my literal first look. I had brought up the launcher, the menu that you saw, and that's as far as I've gotten. I'm still in this save where we were doing the videos on, well, most recently the Dobleep. So let's fast travel back up to the cabin and go get us some gear. Now, I haven't heard anybody talking about it, but I assume since we're looking at a DLC that we had to actually purchase, that the gear will be free. That's kind of been the case in the past. So let's take a look here. And I don't even see it. Well, what's going on here? Okay. It's because I'm in the wrong place. So let's go to the right place and go to the shop so that we can claim it. There we go. So here's the bear. Oh, that thing's ugly. That thing is ugly. Oh my gosh. All right. Huh. Well, there you have the first look at the Constrictor. Well, my first look at the Constrictor Pro. All right. I I have to say I am not a fan of that look at all. But we're going to claim it. We're going to use it. Let's go down and take a look at the Alaskan XT. So that's not horrible looking. I mean, it's kind of plain. Little exoskeleton feel to it. Not flashy at all. Which, I mean, it's a hunting boat. Doesn't need to be flashy. It looks nice. I don't have any complaints with it. Just not anything super pretty. I do have. Look at this is a really nice attention to detail here. Look at this string. That is a very nice piece of detail that they put in. I don't even know if they did that with the other bows. I've never noticed it before. Let me actually jump back and take a look at one of these others. Maybe I've just missed that and they've done it to all of them. They did do it. Yeah. I'd never noticed it before. So you do have a little string hanging. Oh. Huh. Well, look at that. Notice something new. All right, so let's claim this guy. Now let's take a look at the creme de la creme of the bows that they added here. Let me inspect it first. That's pretty much exactly what you would expect it to look like. And of course, there's no sights or anything. You've got the medallion on the side. No sights, nothing like that, just your standard recurve. It'll be interesting to see how this works when you're using it in the field, if they give you hunter sense as an option or not. That's very nice looking. Now, it's obviously not one of the absolute. It's got the little compass on it too. So I mean, they did it real. It's obviously not one of the prettiest bows that you'll ever see out there. It's not designed to be that. It's a very functional bow, but I do think it's pretty. I think the lines in it are pretty. The design, the shape. Uh, I've always liked the takedown. So there's a look at it. Let's go ahead and claim him. Now we need to grab our sights here. So here's the Bear X Speed. Not really going to be able to see too much on it. Just a basic look at the scope itself. It's a nice looking model. I mean, yeah, not much to say about it. Go ahead and claim him. And then we've got the Trophy Ridge, which I used to have a Trophy Ridge sight. All right, so it's a single pin. Okay. So yeah, I actually used to shoot a Trophy Ridge on one of my bows. It wasn't this model. I don't remember what the model was, but it was I think it was a 5 or 6 pin. I think it was a 5 pin. Boy, that is a thick bar here. I don't know if that's real or not. I'm assuming that's going to be an illuminated reticle. Or Not reticle, but pin. Looks nice. Nothing over the top, nothing too extreme. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab that guy. Alright, so well, I guess I could have done it there. Let's get a couple of these guys equipped here. So there's the apex. I'm going to go ahead and put the new sight on it just to see how things line up. And we're going to grab the Constrictor Pro, equip it, and I'm going to go ahead and put on all... My gosh, we'll have to buy some more. Alright, let me go buy some more of the 2-inch arrows. Shop, ammo. This is a 2-inch. Yeah. I hope one day they allow us to buy more than 3 at a time. This is such an annoying... Alright, there's enough. Alright. So let's go ahead, change ammo. Pop these guys in there. Oh my gosh. Alright, well, whatever. We'll throw these in there. We'll take the Jeep down to the range so we don't have to come back up here to... Let's get that out of the way. So we don't have to come back up here to grab more stuff. Put it to where I can get to it a little more easily. Alright. So let's take a look at this new guy, or, well, let's click on the right one, bring up the new guy. Alright, so here's our Constrictor Pro, and apparently I forgot to put the scope on it. Alright, now we have a scope on here. Alright, so let's turn on Hunter Sense. So here's our zoom, 1.5 to 5. Let me go ahead and lay down so we can get that sway out of here. So we're 51 meters away. Let's get just a little closer so that we're right on it. So 50.5. Let's see if that doesn't put us... Alright, so now we're dead on. So we are facing the wind a little bit. So we've got 13 miles or 13 meters per second, almost dead at us. So we're at 50 meters. You can see the impact from the left to right of the wind. But if we look at it, there's not really much drop at 50. Let's, and you can't zero this, so this is always going to be zeroed at 50. If we find the 100 one here. So we're 100 meters away, and we are not anywhere close to 100 meters on here. We're having to hold at the 90 meters. That doesn't seem right. We're at 100.3 meters away. I would expect us to be using the 100 meter pin or reticle line, whatever you want to call it. That's interesting. So if we just go by the 100 cents, it's closer to the 90 meter mark. That's, hmm. And if we're shooting into the wind, that should make us have to hold higher because the wind should be slowing down the arrow, making it drop sooner. Hmm, that's interesting. I wonder if I can see something 100 meters with the wind. So that's 50. That one there might be close. So that's 81. But even at the 81, so that's this one here. No, that's, yeah, that's 81. If I get to the actual tree, you can see it's more like 75. And that makes sense because we're with the wind for you to have to aim a little lower. Hmm. That's interesting. Well, let's see if it's actually hitting with the 100 cents dot here. Why is that going to... Oh, hang on, I can let it reload. I don't understand why that's bringing up my collar. So character, inventory. So that should be my binoculars. Why is it bringing up the collar? Sorry, I'm just looking over at my cyborg to see if maybe I've changed something. And it has. So my 4 and 9 swapped positions on my cyborg. Hmm. All right. Sorry. So we can see where the arrow hit. It did hit right in the 100 cents dot. So that's interesting though. It's kind of pointless to have these ranged if they aren't accurate. So if I try to use that 100, I mean, granted we would have to adjust for the wind because the wind is pushing it, much further over. But if I try to use that 100-yard mark, even if I hold Kentucky windage, we're way over top. Hmm. So I would jump over to the apex real quick. So at 50, it's pretty much dead on at 50. So I mean, that's not bad. Let's see how it looks at 100. No, it is definitely not zeroed for this either. Well, that's interesting. Everybody I'd talked to had said it was spot on. No, that's not at all what I'm saying. It's spot on up close. So we're going to run up to this 100-yard one and get 20 meters away and just walk our way back and look at it. So we're at 29. Alright, so that's pretty close. So the 20 is going to be a little high, which we're in, almost 14 meters per second. So that could be reasonable. I'm okay with that. That doesn't seem too far off. We back up to 30. 30 would still seem reasonable to me, to be a little below the line. So yeah. A little too far. So our 40, I would expect it to be a little bit lower than what it is. It's not really any lower than the 30. I think it's a little higher than the 30 was. Just a couple yards out. So the 50, whoops. So the 50 is pretty close to dead on in a 14 meter per second headwind. This is not impressive at all. And then the 60 is even higher. So now when we're holding for 60, you've got to hold even further off. And the 70, you can see it's well above the 70-yard line. Crouch so it doesn't move as much. But you can see it's well above the 70-yard indicator in the scope. I was really excited about this scope, but now seeing it, I skipped 80, didn't I? No, we're on 80 now. All right, back up just a shade. So you can see with the 80, it's even further above. So it's certainly not. Oh, man. Back up a few more yards. And then look at the 90. I mean, it's practically the same as holding where the 80 line is. And of course the 100 is the one we were looking at to begin with. It's way off. I mean, you're having to hold almost on the 90 to be shooting 100. So yeah, if you're trying to use the scope as your yardage indicators, it's not going to work very well. You're not going to be very accurate. If they're going to do that, just take the numbers out and leave the lines in and just let us figure it from there. Adding the numbers in, man, that's frustrating. That's frustrating. Not at all impressed. Looks like you've got just a little over a couple hundred yards with this scope to have hunter sense. So if you get beyond 200, you're not going to have the dot. And knowing it's off on this one, there's no point in going through engaging it for the apex, because we know it's going to be off for a couple different reasons. One, we're at 100 yards and we see it showing above 90. We thought that the yardage was going to be indicated in meters, but It's not indicated in anything. It's just wrong. Huh. All right. Well, a little less impressed with that. Oh, actually, I did want to look at the energies. So let's take a look. We'll do the 100 yards with the Constrictor first. I thought I saw a fox or something over there. Heard him earlier. All right, so if we take a look at, back up a few feet or a few inches. All right, so we're at 100 meters. Now, obviously, we're into the wind, so the numbers are going to be a little goofy. But it looks like we're at 172.8, 172.8 or 9. It's actually impressive that it's changing that quickly. Usually you have a kind of a range. So 172, if we jump over to the apex and look at that same range, you've got 246. So you can kind of get a good feeling for how much weaker the new crossbow is. I was thinking if the numbers lined up and it made it for a really convenient way to target to do your ranges, I may change the crossbow that I prefer, but no, there's no point. So I will keep with the Apex. It'll just be another piece of kit that stays in the Jeep. All right, let's grab the new bow. So we're crossbow. Where are you at? There you are. And let's put that new Trophy Ridge scope on it. We'll just leave the arrows that we got. And we'll go ahead and grab the recurve. And of course, did I not? Oh, I'm clicking all the wrong things. So let's put the compound bow there. Let's put the recurve here. And of course, there is no scope for it. And I'm not going to worry about the arrows. We'll just leave them with the factory arrows. So let's see how this guy looks. So we can zero from 25, 35, 50, and 70. So we'll 0 to 50. Let's walk in till we're at 50. So at 50, this looks pretty spot on. I mean, you can see, turn the 100-cent dot off and back on so you can see exactly where it is. So there's no 100 cents and there's with 100 cents. So, I mean, it's lined up dead on. It is slightly off to the side because of the wind, which that's appropriate. But it's good at 50. So that's nice. We'll take a look where we hit. Yeah, so hit right where we expect. Let's back out to 70 and see how it looks. All right, so here we are at 50. We're going to 0 to 70, and then we're going to back up to 70 yards. If I can get past the Jeep here. Interestingly enough, the wind is not impacting it enough to even adjust at 70 yards. I was honestly expecting it to be a little bit off because of the wind. I mean, the wind just continues to get stronger. We're now in 14.6 meters per second. But it's holding dead true. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, go ahead and take a shot here. Oh, well, if I quit twitching. Let's try that again. I mean, 100 cents appears to be correct. That was a little high. That was me, though. I was just hitting it on the float. All right, whatever. Let's take a look at this here recurve. So I've got 100 cents on. So we do get the 100 cents dot. Obviously, this is going to be a little slower. Let me get into a little tighter range here. So we're going to do 27 yards. Well, 27 meters. 27 yards used to be, maybe still is, the most common distance that a bow hunter will have a kill. So we'll use that as a starting point just to kind of get a feel. Grab the right bow. All right. Yeah, so that's looks like about 30 meters is going to be right at the edge of the tip of that arrow. Seems to shoot nicely enough. Decent sound. A little more I like that. If we take a little longer shot, though, you're going to start running into the issue where you just can't see anything. So you're not going to be taking many long shots with this guy. Oh, look, you can. Okay, so you can zero it all the way out to 60 meters. So let's see. Looks like it's probably 70 some. So let's back up. So I don't... Oh, I hit the wrong button. Get back up here. Oh, these things are so slow to swap around. I just want to bring it up. Alright, so we've got 20, 25, 30, 35, and 50, and 60. Okay. So I guess I should be smart and go to the 20 and zero it to 20. So you can kind of see how high that is. I mean, using 100 cents shouldn't be an issue. Although that kind of felt like it hit a little further right. Let me put it right on the line here. Can't see. That looks like it hit right on the line, didn't it? Yeah, alright, so it's good. That was just a me. Alright, so let's go back a little bit. So we can do 20, 25, 30. Let's go to 35. 30. Well, we'll just do 30 since we're here. Yeah, it seems to be holding it about the same place. So that'll make it convenient. So we are now... We're on 50, we're at 48, 49. Yeah, so granted the wind is blowing it into my riser, but it's holding at the same place. So once you get a feel for where you need to be aiming, shouldn't be any issues at all with it. Now, you're still not going to be taking a lot of really long shots. I mean, you can cheese it, and you'd be aiming through your thumb. So, I mean, we hit it. And that may be a good enough shot to drop a deer. Let's see if we can tell. Yeah, we hit a little back. So, definitely not one that you're going to be doing a lot of really long shooting with. But if you're using the 100-cent dot or you get a feel for where you need to aim, let's see if we can do a little better with this one. Oh. Oh, come on now. I cannot get it to line up. Alright, if I don't get it this time, we're just going to move on. There. I went right over its back. Of course, if the wind wasn't blowing so bad, that'd probably help a little bit. Alright. Yeah, it's low in front. Wouldn't have been very useful of a shot. Here, an old badger over here. Now let's go see if we can't hit this fox just for fun. So overall, I'm actually less impressed with the new crossbow and scope than I ever imagined I would be. I thought that was going to be a really, really nice addition. Unfortunately, I have to say it's not. I'm probably not going to use it much. I was honestly expecting to take the new scope and put it on the Apex. It's kind of what I figured. I was hoping that the new one would be, close enough, and with it being lined up with the reticle on the scope, it might have been worth dropping down the power a little bit to have that type of accuracy, but having seen what we've seen, I'm not... Oh, let me not spook these guys. So we're at 67 yards. We'll just 100-cent dot you, buddy. Or try to, anyway. Oh! I don't know if I went over his back or what, but the color changed just as I shot. So I know I missed him completely. Well. One thing I did want to try, in the video where they introduced the bow, they stuck it into a tree and it made a nice thong noise. So let's see how it looks if we stick it into a tree. Oh, there was still a fox there. I could have shot at you. Where'd you go? Oh, well. It did stick nicely into the tree. So, that's, interesting. It's actually a handy thing when you can stick arrows into trees. So if you're trying to find ranges, you can actually use like this knot in a tree here as an aim point. And even if you don't have hunter sense, you can get a feel for where you need to aim. When you can see the arrow actually stick, you get that exact feedback of where things are, which is hard to see from here. But you can see it's stuck right in there. And we've got a couple of them. I'm sure only a few are going to stay. But yeah, that's whatever. Anyway, I don't think there was anything else. We got the Constrictor Pro, the Crossbow sight, the new compound bow, the takedown, of course, the new sights for the Trophy Ridge. I mean, I don't think we're going to go find a melanistic gray wolf anytime real quickly, so probably not going to look at that. The changes for the 308, 338, 30-06, 270, and 65, that takes a little more effort to really get into those type of changes. So we're not going to look at that. The grass rendering, whatever. We can, however, take a look real quick at the shotgun. and see the tracer around. So we'll do that real quick and then wrap this up. No real hunting or anything. I just wanted to kind of walk through things, get a look, kind of showcase what things look like. And I know not everybody gets a chance to play every day, so if I can spend a few minutes and put something together that people can take a look at, then that's probably worthwhile. So let's change ammo, throw the slug in you. Let's grab the field master and equip him, because he'll have all 3 slugs. Well, 2 slugs, whatever. Alright. So we've got the super mag here. Just shoot up over this way. Yep, definitely has a trail so you can see it. We'll shoot again into the shade here. So that's nice. You can see really well where you're hitting. So you can kind of learn. Oh, I thought that would have hit. There we go. Alright, whatever. So jump into the field master here. Again, you can now see everything nice. Let's go ahead and jump over to the other slugs. That's a little too close to see. But you can see him there. So, yeah, nice change. I really wish they would add the lighted nocks on the bows and the bolts, the arrows and the bolts, so that we could see when we're shooting the bows and crossbows, but whatever. Alright, so yeah, I think that's pretty much everything we can get into. Obviously, I don't have everything set up in Arabic, so I'm not going to be able to make any changes there. We could go to Linticodo and see if the benches have been moved, but I don't think it's a big deal. I just wanted to kind of give people who don't have a chance to get in game to take a look at things, to actually see what it looks like, kind of get a feel for it, and kind of get my first impressions on it. And honestly, uh, wow. Um, is it worth the $4.99? If the scope was really good on the crossbow, and when I say really good, I mean if it lined up correctly, that's practically a no-brainer there that would be a great option to use. The recurve alone, that's kind of the big thing out of this. I mean, the new crossbow is weaker than the Apex, so there's no big benefit there. The new sights are not any better because you're going to have to still figure out your ranges somehow. I guess if you're within 50 meters, it's close enough where you can probably get by with it. So maybe a little better than the original scopes that we use. Yeah, whatever. Uh, the new the new compound bow, eh, whatever. It's another bow. That's okay. The recurve, of course, that's awesome. A lot of people are going to love that. The new sight for the compound bow, eh, yeah, I mean, if you like a single pin and adjusting and then having to hold high and low if you're not at an exact range, that's fine. I think I'd probably stay with the multi-pin sight personally. So for all that stuff, really, I think it comes down to how much do you want the recurve. If you really want the recurve, it's absolutely worth the $4.99. It's a great little recurve. You've seen it shoots just fine, no issues there. Um, the other changes, that's all stuff that's going to be in game anyway. So the Gray Wolf, being melanistic, that's going to be in game. The changes for the weapons that they kind of over nerfed, that's going to be in game. The bullet trails, all that stuff's going to be in game. So really, you're just looking at the gear. Um, I bought it. I'm not going to complain too much about it. I am going to complain about the scope not lining up. That's just not. That's not a good look. Not a good look at all. But the recurve, really cool. I'll use it some. Probably won't become my go-to, uh, but yeah, recurves are cool, and it is going to make you get a little closer to stuff or to call things in. So it'll be cool. Anyway, that's all I have on this right now. Just a real quick introduction to it, going over a few things, and hopefully, if somebody hasn't had a chance to get in game to play with it at all, this will give you an idea of what it's going to look like, kind of at the range. I know it's not the same as hunting things, and I did screw up the shot on the fox, but whatever. Um, if you like it, do the whole like and subscribe thing. I absolutely appreciate it. I appreciate you guys coming to join in and watch, even if you don't. So glad to have you here either way. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Y'all have a good night. God bless and happy hunting.